Hola, yo soy Carlos.
Y yo, Miguel.
Welcome to Puente Bridge.
Stories that connect us. Hola, this is Puente Bridge, and we are celebrating Latin America in the UK. My name is Miguel Hernando Torres Umba. Bienvenidos. Our guest of today is a Mexican woman who has traveled around the world creating joy, color, and energy through movement. Her name is Vanessa Guevara Flores, a phenomenal dancer, choreographer, and creator whose work and passion have taken her to collaborate with the most renowned choreographers and dancers in the UK. Her inspiring journey is a story of resilience, dedication, and conviction, and we hope you enjoy listening to her. This interview was recorded at the Union Chapel in London. This architectural treasure in Islington is home to a working church, an award-winning venue, a unique organ, and the Margins Project. We are very grateful with them for opening their doors and welcoming our Latin voices to resonate through the building. Now, without further ado, here it is, our interview with the talented Vanessa Guevara Flores. And hello, welcome back to Puente Bridge. We are here back once again for another of our episodes where we celebrate Latin American people and the Latin American culture in the UK. Today, we have a very special guest, and it's a very dear friend of mine, for which I am also even more excited to introduce her to you and tell about her story in this country. But before I let her introduce herself to you, I would like you to think about this for one moment. Maybe close your eyes. Just imagine. It's the middle of a stadium. You're right in the center. 81,000 people are watching you live. And around the world, millions are watching you. It is London 2012. The celebration, the Olympics are just about to begin, and it's the opening ceremony. Fireworks and performers are all on a stage. And in the middle of this all, 50 of the best dancers in the country are together, creating a beautiful moment for the world to see. And amongst of those 50, there's one person, a Latin American person, a Latin American performer who is with us here today. So, welcome to Puente Bridge podcast. Hi, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, Miguel. Nice to see you again. My name is Vanessa Guevara Flores.
Vanessa Guevara Flores. And that's such a lovely sounding name. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We start with this epic moment. How do you feel when you were in that moment on the stage?
Well, it was magic. It was magical. It was... it's hard to express, but I remember just being in the standby. We have our ears just to be ready and listening our cues. While we were in standby, they were saying, "Okay, now let's go in to the stadium, to the stage." And I remember we just ran into our positions, and then this bus went around. It was kind of like bees or, just sound, just maybe just people talking, not even, just talking, but 80,000 that you said, it was magical. And it was beautiful because as well, it was paying tribute to people that have died. So it was a very special time. So.
We're going to come back to this moment more during the podcast, but also I want to ask were you family around when you were performing that day?
That's right. I had the opportunity to be part of this of the Olympics, and I remember all my payment, all my fee went towards bringing my parents for first time to come to see me to perform at the Olympics. And also as an achievement for me for being working with an amazing company.
So your parents were here. Can you tell us the name of your parents?
Yes, Yolanda Flores Landa.
Flores.
And my dad, Victor Hugo Guevara Gutierrez.
Señor Guevara. Why was it so special to bring them for that moment?
Well, because 2 years before I arrived to this country. And from then, everything that they have heard or seen was by phone, or me telling them, oh, here in this country is like this, like that, or taking pictures, sharing pictures. Oh, this is the Big Ben and people are nice. And so for me, it was important that they came and see where this child is. How is she doing? And as you know, parents are always very important, their presence in our performances in general. Could be the best critics and the worst as well at the same time. But I think it is important as well because they have been so supportive in my career. And financially was only the time where I could afford to pay for them to come.
How involved have they been in your development as a performer?
Everything.
Everything.
Every part of it.
Okay, would you share us some of that?
Sure. I was introduced to movement, as I always said, the first time, I would say, because my parents were yoga teachers. So I grew up in that environment. This was around, I was 4 years old when my parents, for example, my dad was taking meditation and yoga practice to the prisons. And my mom was taking as well yoga to the communities, to the ladies that live up in the mountain in Mexico, and they don't know anything about it. So they shared with me that movement. I used to do meditation with them. We were working in an ashram, and I'm saying working as in just contributing. And then, I think that was my first approach to movement.
And when was this and where?
This was, we were living in Perote, which is a small city in Veracruz, but we were traveling constantly as well and spending loads of time in an ashram, which is in Coatepec.
This is part of Mexico. I don't know if we said the word, that it might be that some of the people who are listening, not sure of the individual kind of places, they're so specific, but we're talking about Mexico.
Mexico.
So you're Mexican.
That's right.
And so you started there. And would you tell us a little bit more how you started your career as a dancer, or if you have a memory of when was the first time you kind of went, oh, this is something that I'm kind of intrigued by?
Yes. With dance, I will say, in Mexico, traditional dance or folkloric dances are compulsory in dances in primary school, secondary school. They are part of the curriculum. So luckily, we are introduced very early to our costumes, to our traditions. And that was my first approach to I could do it. When I decided to say, yes, this is something I want to feel, was because, I was in this small town, which is Perote in Mexico. And my mom took me to a quinceañera when someone is 15 years old. And in this party, the celebrated dances, the waltz, very European style, and then also dances some folklore or some salsa or some anyway. I was very tiny. I was 5 to 6. And I remember I wasn't tall at all. And from that high where I was, these folkloric dancers were dancing, and they were wearing these amazing, massive skirts that they look like wings. And these skirts were just floating around near to my eyes, near to my face, and I could feel the air. I could see the colors, the ribbons, because these are skirts full of ribbons, and those ribbons are different colors. I could see them like going and making circles. It was just so magical moment. And my feeling that, and also the girls was in this case, that I could see them, it looks like they are enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was my appreciation that day. It looks like they are living their life. And then I thought, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah.
And then you went down that road.
And then I was.
And did you become a contemporary dancer straight away, or how did it work?
No. In Mexico, for example, works like this. After you take this folkloric dance at school as compulsory, you have the option if you want to do it more seriously. And that was my case. My mom pushed me to do many auditions. She just really supported me and pushed me to grow. So I went into a really important folkloric company, which is called the Compañía de la Universidad Veracruzana, And once I was there doing my training as a folkloric, and teacher, one day they had a brilliant idea. The magic day happened. Well, they invited a contemporary dancer to provide a warm-up. So let's see what is this warm-up is about. And then we started to move in a way which I have done yoga. So it's similar to that. But then it feels like the body expresses something. It feels like, it feels like a sport. I've been doing a sport as well, thanks to my dad, with that physicality. But so it was just delicious. It was beautiful. And since there, I thought, warm up. Yes, folk dances as well. But I think I'm going to see more about the warm up. And then I found out that was contemporary dance. And that was, again,
You were hooked.
I was hooked.
And you train in Mexico, or you train somewhere else in contemporary dance?
Well, yes, I trained. I've been traveling a lot since I was really young. So what I'm saying with this is that I always have this. I want to more. I want to go find more things, see more things. So my training started in Mexico, in the university, and then I moved to the city. Let's say like Mexico City. So I went from a small city, Jalapa, to Mexico City. Already things changed there for me. And after that, my formation as a dancer, I wanted to, because I was dancing as well, folk dances, which is very well supported financially and through by the government to do tourings and performances abroad. So I was very lucky. I got that support, but also I got new skill. So I went into to travel a lot. So I completed my training. I did in Mexico, and I did some training in the States. And then I went to work in a company with the folkloric dance in Spain. And then I trained as well in Africa.
Oh, you were also to Africa?
Yes.
Oh my God. How do you end up in Africa? I thought you were going to go to the UK then, but it seems like it's not.
No. Well, after I studied, I studied in when I did this, I decided to go to Spain with this company, the Compañía Nacional. And after working there, I had like a flashback. And this is what happened is when I was in primary school, the teacher came with the new lesson of the day. And the lesson was about the African continent. And it was amazing. And it was amazing because I could see many things that were similar to us. And I remember back then, when I was in primary school, I thought one day I will go to that country. And the day that I was finishing work after a couple of years in Spain, that thought came back. And I thought, wait a minute, I wanted to go to Africa and I'm just here. So I went to Africa.
You jump.
Yes. I remember, I think I sold everything that I have in Spain. I mean, everything as in, many things, but, and then I went to Africa and I went with an open heart, open arms, open mind, open everything, and just to see.
Wow. So you've been traveling around the world quite a lot and training, which is very important. So you went to learn as well from Africa. So you had folkloric movement from Mexico and now from Africa as well.
That's right.
So, and how long you trained in Africa for?
Well, I could say that if I put all the years together, a couple of years as well. And it was very beautiful because I think it was very magic that my approach to it was completely relaxed and completely just open, as I told you. And suddenly I got involved very organically with the dance, with the teachers, with the dance companies from there. So, yeah, it was very, very intense.
And intense and magical.
Yeah, I always said that it was a gift I gave myself.
You're very kind with yourself. Very good.
I am, actually.
And so how does the UK happen then? Because you're traveling.
Oh, the UK. Well, the UK, what happened after Africa, I went to San Francisco, California, in the States. And I trained there as well. I went to learn English, and visit my cousin, who's an artist from there. And when I was there, there was, as you mentioned, I have the formation of folkloric dance, Mexican, and African dance, and contemporary. So I was a little bit like, okay, I do these three things. I don't know if well or not, but I do these three things. And then I was watching listening. Sorry, I was listening to the news on internet with my cousin, and they announced that in my town, in my city, they were doing an auditions because they needed folkloric dances from Mexico, African dance, dances, contemporary. And then I thought, well, I have those three things. That's me. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
So I went down and I ended up dancing in this company in Mexico for 8 years. I choreographed for this company as well. And the key is because the director from that company is Richard O'Neill, who was artistic director as well of River Dance here in Ireland. And that's when things connect.
And then that's when you go, okay, time to go to this new place.
Yes.
Puente Bridge.
Stories that connect us. With communities unable to come together as before, the Union Chapel will be collaborating with artists and communities to create a rich online cultural offer. They have also launched a new heritage program to find creative ways for audiences, including vulnerable families and marginalized communities, to continue to discover, contribute, and connect with their non-conformist heritage. And the Margins Project has been supporting people facing homelessness and crisis in Islington through the lockdown and going into winter. For more information on how to stay connected and support the Union Chapel, go to their website www.unionchapel.org.uk and follow them on all social media platforms. So how long have you been in the UK?
10 years.
10 years. And so how was that beginning bit? You remember when you got here?
Yes, I remember. I arrived on the 11th of May, 2010.
We know that date.
Mm.
And how was that beginning? How was the early years or the start of your journey here in the UK? Did you go straight into Dance with River Dance or?
No. I mean, it was beautiful because it was, I was carrying all my hopes and all my dreams and everything. But also it was challenging because I had to have a visa that wouldn't allow me to work for 2 years. So, it was hard to not be able to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was still doing auditions, taking classes, obviously. And when, unfortunately, with some companies said, oh, yeah, we would like to work for you. Or, well, I don't think I have the papers. So it was very upsetting. Financially, it was hard. I mean, I had the support of my partner. But financially, it was 2 years basically living from my savings. I was still training, taking classes, living from my savings. But yeah, I couldn't work with the companies. I got my first contract right after that with the State of Emergency, a company here in the UK, which actually mixes African dance with contemporary dance. And it was like a dream. I couldn't believe it. When I got the call and said, yeah, you got the job. And yeah, it was beautiful.
And so you went there. Who else have you been working for over the last, a few people maybe? I mean, I imagine everyone it's been a long time.
Yes, I've been working with this State of Emergency with Vocab Dance, which is as well mixing of African dance and contemporary. Dance with Ballet Nimba, which just completely does African dance in Wales, and been directing as well with them as part of dancing. I danced with Jose Agudo. He does flamenco and contemporary with some katak. And mentioning the Olympics, I worked with this amazing choreographer, Akram Khan.
Yeah, well, he's one of the greatest choreographers in the UK at the moment. And so all of these people were there ready to receive you, only that you weren't allowed at the beginning. But they included you in the work.
Yeah.
So do you feel like your work has been appreciated? I mean,
definitely. I arrived here as an old dancer, I will say. Not old, but I could see the people that I was auditioning was early 20s, mid 20s, and I was 30. And yes, there was something that I guess, obviously, that they saw on me that I could contribute. Yes, I think I work really hard. Sometimes I say I'm very lucky, but I think little by little, maybe I've been working for what I'm been achieving as well. I think I have to recognize myself as well.
Yes, that's what we're here for. We're here to celebrate you, to
Yes.
celebrate us, to recognize what we do. And certainly you're working really hard for you to, I mean, going back to the beginning of the podcast of today, we're just saying it's a group of 50 performers, elite performers. Like I remember watching it and feeling so inspired by the ceremony and every performer that was in it. I was watching it from the South Bank Center on a TV. I didn't get the chance to participate, but that specific scene, that dance sequence is just beautiful. And one can know that not any dancer can be there. There's just a group of dancers who are at the top of their game. And so you are there. So how did you get there? What was the process to get into that Olympic ceremony with Akram Khan and his company?
Yes, that was a very interesting. I was just finishing a contract and touring and everything with another company. And, after touring and being very busy, sometimes we relax and we get ill and all of that. So basically, I was on that. I was on the sofa with a massive flu, really feeling not good, fever and everything. My partner in that time was working in the Olympics already. I miss, as you said, I missed the auditions for the Olympics. So because I was working, so I was there in my sofa, and my partner arrived from the Olympics rehearsals, and he was doing dance captain and working with mass movement. And he comes and said, "Oh, how was your day?" Well, yeah, I was chatting with this choreographer, which is actually rehearsing next to me in the studio. Yeah, very nice guy. And he just started talking about this guy. Okay, and so I said to him, "Oh, my partner is a dancer as well." And he said, "Okay, because we are doing auditions, blah blah blah." And he said, "Well, and I got you an audition, so you got an audition on Monday." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's good." I was feeling really bad, and I was like, "With who is this audition?" And he said, "With Akram Khan." Okay. I think it's better than antibiotics, and it just put me off bed very quickly. I was, so I went on Monday and I did the audition because it wasn't the audition season. It was, a special thing because he was looking for 2 dancers, and I was lucky again. I got there.
I think we've established you weren't lucky. You were just very well prepared, and you were exactly what he was looking for at the time. And you've worked with really wonderful people and choreographers. And how have they influenced your work now that you've been working with other companies and creating your own pieces as well?
Yeah, that's very important because as you said, I've been sharing a work with amazing choreographers, but also amazing dancers. I think all my, the people that I dance with are very inspiring to work with. I never take for granted anything that that I've been sharing on a stage or with companies. I feel very lucky about it. But working with these choreographers, I normally get very committed on trying to get across with whatever they want to express, their stories, which eventually they are mine as well. But I realize I have things to say as well. Maybe with age, this comes that I want to say my story. And maybe also being from Mexico, which is completely different, I keep sharing my stories and how my country is and things, but also I have a language how to say it. So I wanted to share things as well from my culture. Now, how am I going to share it? This was very important for me working with Akram and with Jose Agudo, because for me, for a long time, to be able to fit into the aesthetics, I will say, or into ensemble in the companies in London, I have to dance a certain way. and all my background from the African and from the Mexican dance, I kind of put it on the side so I could just do my thing. But at the times when I'm collaborating or I'm creating for other choreographers, it comes out me. It comes out all this Mexican dance and all this African training that I have had. So when I work with these two amazing dancers, I saw the way they embraced their culture, which I wasn't doing. I was trying to fit as much as possible with the, how things work here, and not showing my background. Nah. But when I saw them, they really inspired me. Jose Agudo, in particular, he pushed me to do it one day in the studio. He said, "Okay, create a solo." And I was like, yep. I was expecting some tasks. So I said, "Oh, what about?" And he said, "Oh, just do Mexican dance." And I felt like, "Oh, really?" Like I have the permiso, I have the, oh, okay. So, and I did it and I loved it. I just felt like a person that I trust, which is him, opened that door for me to freely just embrace my culture. And from there I said, this is how I want to say the stories now. I just need to make obviously a proper exploration and research. But I loved it. And that's what I'm doing now. So the piece that I presented last year at the place was about that, was telling a little bit about my culture, the traditions, the freedom and the love and the support that I find, was about sharing with people from here a little bit, showing off my country, but also in a language that I believe that I created based on what I am.
What a wonderful journey. So you started doing folkloric dance and then learning other skills, traveling the world and sort of leaving it behind for a bit to fit somewhere else and then rediscover that connection and then now embracing it together. The place when you mention it, it's a dance academy, just for those who are listening, and it's where some of our contemporary dancers train here in the UK. But that is just an amazing journey, and it brings me to the next point, which is also, so how was it received by the audience here? Your work.
Well, it was really cute. When I finished the show, I went to the foyer, and it was beautiful to hear. One of my achievements, I would say, to hear more Spanish speaking, because I think sometimes Latin Americans just don't come a lot to theater. So to bring new people, or that could appreciate, or that they were appreciating and feeling identified with what I was showing, it was beautiful. But also people from here, people that don't speak Spanish, that they learn something. So I put a feedback wall where they could leave notes, and they were really nice. They were really, really beautiful notes where people were saying, I take this to, in my heart, the things I felt I could see, the things, the people that you were saying. So I think I connected with them. Some of them say, I would like to know more about this culture, about your culture, or Mexico, or I didn't know about this. So for me, I take that as a little achievements on that people took something home, or a new discovery from a person from Mexico.
Again, it leads to asking, so what do you think you offer or you bring? I mean, it's kind of obvious. We've been saying it. You were in the Olympics, entertaining over 80,000 people, and you've been touring, entertaining, and bringing your culture. But it's kind of obvious, I guess. But I'd like you to kind of share with us what you think you bring to this place, to this country.
Well, at the beginning, I think, as I said, I brought here since the first step I gave in this country was all my dreams and all my hopes, all my gifts as well. And with this process, I'm being just, it's been so valuable for me what I have. I always feel, maybe for what I have gone through my life, good and bad, sometimes it feels it could help as an inspiration maybe for new artists, for new people, for just people. So I bring everything. I'm here to contribute, and that's important because I guess at the beginning of the applications, for example, of the visa, it feels like, what do you want from this country? It's a little bit like you are coming here to take our money and to take our jobs and to take. So for me to come across with this, that I'm actually here to bring something to make, life better, but my life better, and possibly, if you allow me, your life better as well. So I wanted to say, I'm here, use me. I have something for you, in a good way. I like to obviously share what I have learned of, the good things in life.
There's something that's very popular recently, isn't it? And I've been working with it as well, which is Day of the Dead. I'm not Mexican, but I've had a chance to work with, including with you and all the other Mexican people with this subject. But I remember you mentioning something about this as well.
Yes, I think it's very important that when we approach the other cultures, it's a surprise always, because obviously sometimes it's not what we normally do or the way we normally think. And sometimes when I share things like, okay, let's say the Day of the Dead, people are very touched by it, because in Mexico, well, obviously we get sad about people dying and things, but we know it's not a natural thing. We don't get offended. We play with that as a joke. We make a massive party when that happens. I mean, we celebrate the people that have died. Yeah, we cry, obviously, but, and year by year, we keep, we invite them home back. So people here gets very sad. And obviously, it's a different way to deal with that event. They appreciate a lot that, because they say, "Oh, I never thought I could be happy again about someone that died."
Oh, wow. And the opposite question is, what do you think this country has given you? What have you learned from this country?
A lot. But one thing that I realized was I learned how to trust. I still actually, before coming to this interview, I was texting one of my very first friend, and when I arrived to London, I remember, after hi, I'm Vanessa, and you're a dancer. Oh, as soon as they say, oh, you're a dancer, there is this audition here is happening, and these people, I think, need dancers, or maybe what about teaching classes? And then I thought, wait, these people want me to be good. They are inviting me, and sometimes the people that were inviting me to auditions were dancers as well. So for me, that was, I felt my guard just kind of just relaxed. I guess coming from Latin America, I could say maybe generalize, or Mexico in this case, the opportunities are not a lot. So people sometimes keep a little bit when themselves some new opportunities and things. So for me to arrive here and see that, it was like
Relief.
just let go. Yeah, relief. Yeah, yes, and all the opportunities in general. The respect to the artist. We are making our way. We are there. I mean, we're still working for that. But I have learned lots of things from this country. Trust is good.
There is something I'm going to share now with the audience on you who are listening. Hi, you. As Vanessa and I are also colleagues. We work together for a company called Gecko Theatre, and maybe you want to share a little bit of Gecko since we have that connection.
Yes. Well, I was sitting because a friend here, Miguel, told me that you were going to be on telly on BBC, I think, and I was watching BBC. And I was sitting there, and suddenly I saw this amazing company, Gecko. For me, it was very amazing also because it was not normal, I'd say normal, but, a program on BBC. And suddenly this company comes with different things where, it was so amazing. And then I thought, one day I would like to be part of that company. I just felt it. I just saw something, when something just drags you from the belly and said, yeah, this is how I would like to do something or work with these people. The opportunity came, I would say, nearly 1 year and a half ago. I did auditions for them. And I worked there. And you too.
Oh, we do.
And you too. And yeah, it's been amazing working with you and with the company.
Amit
and with Amit, yeah, amazing. And this film that we just shared as well, the Institute.
It was very special.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, our time is running short and we could spend another hour and a half talking to our audience, but I just want to say thank you very much for joining us on our Puente Bridge podcast. This is exactly what we want to do. I mean, you got such a beautiful energy, but also such a talent and training. You bring so much, not just to the stage, but every time you're around people. It's very well felt and well received. And I really love what you said about empowering yourself of that you bring. I think that's what we're here. We're all doing it individually. And I honor you, also admire you, and thank you very much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
And that was our interview with Vanessa Guevara Flores. As well as being a very talented artist, Vanessa is an extremely generous human being who brings light and joy everywhere she goes. We are honored to have had her in our podcast. And if you have not yet seen the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games London 2012, I'd recommend you go and watch it, and you might be able to spot Vanessa during the dance sequence with the big sun in the middle. Now, before we go, I wanted to bring attention to the fact that we launched this episode on the weekend of Day of the Dead. Just as Vanessa shared with us, this Mexican tradition is an opportunity to remember, honor, and celebrate those who have left us. In the ancient Mayan belief, there are 3 deaths. One, when the heart stops beating. The second, when we are lowered to the ground. And the final one, when there is no one left to remember us. This year has been very challenging for all of us around the world, with millions losing family members to the pandemic. So, in the loving spirit of Mexican Day of the Dead, we want to pay tribute to the families who have lost their loved ones. They will be remembered. We want to express our gratitude with Clauc, Latin American House, Latin Elephant, and Irmo for helping this podcast reach many ears. We also want to say thank you to Lyrics Organics and Active Citizen by the British Council for their encouragement and support. If you enjoyed this episode, help us by sharing it with all your friends. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and let us know your thoughts, some questions, and requests that you may have. Remember, this interview is also available in Spanish, presented by my colleague Carlos Osa Valencia. Puente Bridge is produced by Umba Film and Media, created by Carlos Osa Valencia and Miguel Hernando Torres Umba. Sammy Fiorino is our associate producer. Nelson Cruz, our community manager. The graphic design is by Fabian De Asa, and the music is licensed by Artlist. Puente Bridge Podcast, stories that connect us.